I'm excited about the elaboration room.
I am excited about this.
Welcome to the Elaboration Room with Reverend Yo and Reverend Harris.
Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us in the Elaboration Room with two sisters of one. Tonight, we're coming together once again to give you some fresh ideas or fresh information that we are going to bring forth to you today. Today, we are going to be dealing with, is it mental health?
Yes, ma'am.
Mental health. Y'all bear with me. I am on a laughing frenzy today, so just bear with me today as we go forward. And we thank you once again for joining us as always. And as we always tell you, if there is something that you would like for us to discuss in the elaboration room, make sure you put it down below in the chat so we can see it, so we can come forth with what you want to hear us talk about in the elaboration room. Tonight, I'm going to roll that ball on over into Reverend T's court because she is starting us out tonight in the elaboration room.
Okay, so we have talked about boundaries, where we draw the line in the sand and what we're willing to put up with. We've talked about being yourself, being your true, authentic self. Mm-hmm. Our mental state of mind and well-being has to do with all of this.
All of it.
All of it. My studies told me that more than 1 in 5 U.S. adults live with a mental illness.
Yes.
Over 1 in 5 youth ages 13 to 18, either currently or at some point during their life, have had a seriously debilitating mental illness. Mm-hmm. And about 1 in 25 adults live with a serious mental illness, such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or major depression. That's from the CDC. And do you realize that there is still a stigma surrounding mental illness, that it is seen as weakness?
Yeah.
There's a belief that if you can't just snap out of it, then there's something wrong with you. Stress, anxiety, depression, all of those, PTSD, all of that, that's mental illness.
Mm-hmm. Because when we look at mental illnesses, it also includes our emotional, psychological, and our social well-being as well. And it also affects how we think, how we feel, how we act, and it also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. So we're dealing with this mental illness. It is important that it is discussed about more than in the month of Mental Health Awareness Month, which is in the month of May, because this is a daily struggle that many of our people are dealing with. It's an everyday struggle, and some of this mental illness can stem from either childhood all the way through adulthood.
Yes.
And, and most of our information tonight, we are pulling from CDC because we wanted to give you facts when we're dealing with some of this stuff on mental health tonight. So it's very important that we understand what mental health is and how it affects people, because anyone can be affected by mental health. It's just not someone's crazy in their mind, or it's just that person is a little off. No, it is a serious thing when we talk about mental health.
More than half of the people who suffer with mental illness don't get help, don't acknowledge it. A lot of people don't think that just being overly stressed is a form of mental illness, but it is. What are we allowing to stress us out and cause us worry? Those things when we continuously allow ourselves to be placed in environments which are too much for us, drama and trauma, they are there chipping away at your mental state of mind. And when we consistently live in states trying to live up to others' desires placed upon us, you know, that causes disappointment and places the scales of mental well-being off balance.
Yeah. And then we're dealing in depression also, we have to be careful because when you're dealing with depression, it can also increase other risk factors in your health.
Yes, and think about it. We just came out of this pandemic where how many people died? You know,
it was over a
the
million.
number is astronomical.
Yeah, it was
And
over
so
a million.
you think about the people connected to those people who passed away, that stress, that hurt, you know, that because it was illness that came on all of a sudden. So you are affected.
Yeah.
Some people try to bury it, try to keep it to themselves. They try to close themselves off from others. And it takes a toll.
Yeah.
It takes a toll.
It can really take a toll on your physical health, your mental health, of course, and your spiritual health, because you have also allowed all that other stuff to pile up on you. And it's like you're not the same because you're allowing all of that stress, all of that depression, all of that health and everything to just come down on you. So we have to be careful with, excuse me, I don't know why I keep sneezing. You have to be careful. Girl, you have to be careful with all that too. It's like I'll just start sneezing.
But you know what, sis, you're right. You are right. Your mental state of mind, your mental health, when you are stressed and worried and you are in such a state, it affects your physical well-being. It affects
really
your blood pressure. That, you know, many times people don't feel well because of their state of mind. You know?
And when we're talking about mental health, and this is according to the CDC as well, it is important to remember that a person's mental health can change over time depending on different factors as well. So when a demand is placed on a person, you know, to exceed and they have to cope with certain things, and this can affect their mental health. It can impact their mental health.
That's what I was saying about others' desires on your life. You know,
we become so overwhelmed with stuff.
Right.
And it puts us in this place of depression or in this place of stress or in this place that everything is on demand. And then, you know, then we're dealing with other things personally because we've allowed all this to pile up on us.
Yes. For me, I have a support system in place where I can just be in an unconditional space, you know? And if you can't find that with someone, meditation with God is that perfect place. Because for me, each morning, that's my space, me and God, where there's no conditions on me. I can just be. Isaiah, the 41st chapter says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." You have to find a space. And you need to find those places where you can talk to someone, because I think we get into this stressed and you want to shut off. You want to shut yourself off from everything and everyone. But you need to talk. You need to talk it out. Or cry it out. For the first 2 weeks of my therapy, I think I was going 3 times a week. I cried for that time. I would go in there, I'd cry, couldn't say a word, and I'd leave and come back. It was several sessions before I could talk about it.
Mm.
But you need to find that space. And you know what else affects your mental is sleep deprivation.
I don't have that problem. I sleep.
For those that do have that problem, lack of sleep. I was talking to someone just the other week. Lack of sleep will work on you mentally, your well-being mentally. And I believe we were discussing it, that was a form of torture way back,
Wow.
that they would deprive you of sleep.
That would be torture to me.
Okay. So make sure that you get enough sleep,
Yes.
and because it
Turn
affects
off your mind. You have to turn off your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that staying on the computer, staying on your phone, when you go to bed, that affects the quality of the sleep that you get.
Yeah.
So you need to shut off the electronics well before, read a book, do some journaling, or just sit and contemplate the day of what had happened and analyze it in your mind and breathe through it, have some meditation time, and then go to bed.
Pray.
There you go. That's your meditation time.
Pray.
Yes, ma'am.
Pray it all out. Talk to God. It's love. Just talk to God.
And I found this too in an article, what you eat. Good nutrition. Good nutrition improves your mood. My husband and I found out that eating chocolate before going to sleep wasn't good for us. The next day, did you have bad dreams? Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was that chocolate we ate last night. Yes. Certain things affect different people different ways. I'm not saying that, chocolate is bad, but I'm just saying certain things affects different people different ways. And another way I found of helping you mentally is being physically active, going for walks, exercising. And I can attribute to that really helps your mental. I have been challenging myself by walking distances from our home. And I keep going further and further away. And so I started asking him, will you come pick me up if I walk to such and such a space? And he's like, no, if you walk down there, you're walking back. So you better figure it out. But when I get back, it is such a good feeling and such a good release. At first, I was walking with music in my ears, and then I was walking with biblical stories in my ears. And some days I just walk and it's just quiet, and I'm listening to the birds and all of that, not thinking about what I have to get done or what I didn't get done, just walking. And that helps your mental state.
Yeah. So we don't know what everyone is dealing with. This is just some of the things we put up on mental health to deal with different type of mental things. We went to the department for the Center and Disease Control just so we can get a better understanding. But as we always tell you, we're not counselors and we're not doctors. We're just researching some things to help, because these are things that our viewers wanted us to talk about. So we had to research into it. Neither one of us are mental health specialists. We're not doctors. We just researched to give you some information that we found that finds it to be beneficial to what you may be going through. So we just wanted to give you a little something that you can think about and other ways that you can try and divert, other things that you may be going on or that you may dealing with. I am an avid journaler. I journal every single day, pages and pages sometimes, because when I journal, it just releases a whole lot of whatever, I may be thinking about or whatever I want to say to God, because I always start my journals out as Dear God, because that way I'm talking to him and it just comes out. and then I'm able to just write and get it out and get it out. I'm not saying I got it down packed and perfect. I'm just saying that's some of the things I use to release some of the stuff that goes on. Because when you have so many things to do, you're traveling here, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're going here, you're going there. Sometimes you got to get all that stuff out of your head so you can, like Reverend T said, take a deep breath. So the way to release it sometimes is to write it. Write it, speak it, whatever helps you release some of the stress or whatever you're going through. If you don't have anyone you can talk to, find a prayer partner, and just, or find a good friend that will allow you just to vent, and they don't say nothing. They just let you talk. And when you're done, you're done.
And they won't take it outside of the space.
Nope.
And speaking of spaces, I just want to say, as Reverend Yo was talking about what she found as a great vehicle, parents need to be aware that, like I said, children are suffering from mental illness as well. Children get stressed. They have trauma, whatever it is. Something may happen at school with another friend. Sometimes children can be cruel to other children.
Yep.
Giving your child a safe space is so important. Giving them a safe space. I don't know if anyone remembers my children. My sons are going to have a fit. I don't know if anyone remembers the Get Smart show. The Get Smart show had this cone of silence that would drop down from the ceiling. And in that cone of silence, they could speak freely. And when my guys were younger, I set up the cone of silence. Nothing was going to drop from the ceiling, but if you call for a cone of silence, you couldn't get in trouble. We wouldn't get upset with them. They could say whatever they wanted to say, whatever was on their mind. And if someone spoke about what was said in the cone of silence, we set up, I won't tell you what the penalty was, but we set up a very harsh penalty. And do you know, they are now in their 30s and they will still call for a cone of silence. My husband will call for a cone of silence. I want to tell you this, but cone of silence. And the other person has to agree that it's a cone of silence. And you are free to say whatever is going on. It is so important to give your child a space like that. And apparently it's important for your husband to have it in a space where you're not going to get angry no matter what they say. But you're going to listen. Yeah.
So that's all that we have for you tonight. We hope you enjoyed our show in the Elaboration Room with Two Sisters of One. And as always, Reverend T.
We're not doctors, as Reverend Yo said, but we're just trying to give you something else to consider. So let me just do this one. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3. But the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. That evil stress, that evil worry. All you got to do is turn to him.
Yeah, that's it. Call on him. He will answer. Yes, he will. And as always, we want you to be brave, be strong, and be different. Ask, and it will be given unto you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. Believe in yourself and encourage yourself. But in all things, remember, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Until next time in the Elaboration Room with Two Sisters of One, we ask you to have a blessed evening. Good night.
Bye-bye.
The Elaboration Room with Two Sisters of One. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode every Monday at 6 p.m.